In this video I'll be reviewing LEGO City Space Sets, Modular Space Station, the Space Base and Rocket Launchpad, and Command Rover and Crane Loader, the one that'll start this video off. It comes with two aliens and a small landscape scene featuring the same style of detail seen in the smaller sets of the wave I covered in another video, one of the energy crystals up here, and this scene as a play feature in which the wall falls at the push of this lever in the back, revealing a cool brick-built crystal that certainly feels special. This droid must play a role in digging it out, helping the minor minifigure included with this impressive assembly at her back. The size makes it hard to balance depending on where you place the mechanical arms. The other three minifigures included are two pilots with their blue-collared outfits and a scientist with this weird-looking camera scanner thingy. The Rover, however, is the highlight here, and what an impressive-looking vehicle this is. I had hoped this would have a suspension system of sorts like the smaller Rover set has, but it actually isn't the case. All 8 wheels are fixed into position, which is a shame, despite there being small assemblies here kinda making it look like it has suspension. Nicely decorated with brick-built details, the front one even has a sticker on this 2x4 rounded corner tile, though it would have made a lot more sense that the tile was stuck in place and wouldn't rotate with the wheel, but maybe that's just me. At the front, some lights to light up the ground, and above, the cockpit area, which can be accessed like so, actually revealing a lot of space inside and some stickers for controls and communication with the astronauts outside. At the end, there's access to the middle section of the rover, revealing a rather plain lab with just the one crystal and a screen. What you may not notice is that this lab can actually be detached and was made in the same modular style system seen in the next two sets of the video, where they all have these connector elements in that new orange color. The rover requires a lot of power, and so it features my favorite power sources of the entire lineup, protected with these white Ninjago mech pieces in white with that space logo printed tile on top. At the back there's the crane loader, built with a very interesting system in place, allowing it not only to tilt up and down as you would expect from the hinges it shows, but it also has a rotating base, broadening its reach by a whole lot. This is also the place to store a few tools, and in the back two containers to keep the mined energy crystals inside, most likely. $85 for 750 pieces isn't that great of a deal if you look at the parts alone, though it is a product that offers a lot of play, which in some ways is invaluable. It also expands the play even further when combined with the other sets I'll be featuring in the video, but I always end up comparing these to the small rover set, as they're kinda the same concept in my eyes. For a fraction of the price, you'd get actual working suspension, decent minifigures, a landscape scene of sorts, and an overall sleeker design, so I gotta say I am a bigger fan of the smaller one, so there's that. As for the modular space station, $110 for 1100 pieces is spot on value-wise, but I only really bought it because I bought every other set of the lineup. This one for me is the least exciting of all 7 LEGO City space sets. While the space station idea is kinda cool and the structure is very impressive and quite sturdy, it doesn't really make much sense if you think about it. Astronauts, to be able to go from one module to the other, actually need to step out into space, which isn't very practical. 4 of the modules themselves are pretty much the same, aside from minor interior differences, which also made for a tedious build, so yeah, there's some stuff. 6 minifigures included, a worker, 2 pilots and 3 scientists, with this third one with massive solar power and dark green outfit probably being the highest ranking scientist of them all. And as with most sets, this one also has its own droid to help with work around the station. The build is super sturdy as I mentioned, so you can kinda play with it and move it as you see fit. There's a bunch of bar elements so that the minifigures don't float into outer space, most likely, and the station has 8 distinct modules that can all be disconnected for reasons I'll disclose in a bit. The greenhouse is kind of fun, and the communications module has both an antenna and 4 large solar panels to power the station. All printed elements, by the way, only on one side though. There's a charging station module for a neat little overbike vehicle that, I kid you not, is probably my favorite detail detail of the entire thing. Wish they made it as a standalone polybag set. Then these 4 modules, all very similar builds as I've stated before, with minor differences being the tops, where 2 are white while the other 2 transparent dark and not transparent clear as shown in the box. They all have these connector elements in the new orange color with a panel sticker right in the middle, and on the opposite side of them these white covers that can actually be removed, revealing the exact same type of sticker and connector use. Inside, one of them is the cafeteria, I want to say, with a sandwich and coffee machine. There's a lab in another, a bedroom for one, and a workshop filled with tools for the worker astronauts. On the sticker there you can actually see a representation of the space base set, which is a cool cross promotion. The last module of them all is actually a vehicle, or rather the engine for the space train you can build out of the modules of the space station. Its design is kinda sleek, I'll have to admit. The cockpit area opens up like this with space for 2 astronauts, and there's the power sources on the sides there. Due to the modular system this whole thing is built upon, you can make a bunch of different combinations that will always involve the engine at the start of it all, some of the living quarter blocks, finished off by either placing the solar panel array, the greenhouse, or the overbike docking station at the end there. Remember, the module from the command Rover can also be used here to extend the space train even further, attaching it to the space station or expanding one of the modules by 1 room. So you can kinda see what's going on, right? My adult eye sees some flaws in it, but I'm pretty sure 7-year-old Tiago would absolutely love playing with this one as a kid, considering all of the different options it has. So even though it's not my favorite, it definitely feels like a great product for kids. The Space and Rocket Launchpad, however, is the ultimate LEGO City space set. $135 for a little over 1400 pieces is no joke, but the price feels justified as the set has a lot going on for it. 2 aliens included and a small landscape scene once again, with some interesting stuff for the scientists to explore and the workers to mine, with that simple play feature there that reveals an energy crystal. Standard issue droid included, and you get an interesting lineup when you place them all together, sourced from all of these sets of the theme. 6 minifigures are included, a regular miner, pilot, and 2 scientists, but there's also the chief miner there with the different clothing and headgear, same with the Grand Admiral of the Space Force, clearly in a position of power due to the golden details of its outfit. A very simple looking space truck is included, but kinda does its job well, and I really like how the whole cabin was made with the studs not on top techniques, with plenty of interior space for 1 minifigure. There's room in the back for tools and this pallet build of sorts, though kinda wanted the space station modules to fit here somehow. I'll take the spaceship out of the Launchpad for a better look at it. For some reason it feels like an afterthought and not as polished of a design when compared to every other build of the theme, you know? While I love myself some sand blue tiles, the color scheme of the ramp doesn't seem to fit for some reason, and it's a bit of a shame that this is in a fixed position rather than being able to be moved for a lift-off position, I think. I am no technic expert, but I'm pretty sure a solution with not that many changes to the design would allow for such a thing to happen. The spaceship itself doesn't come close in design when compared to the Interstellar spaceship, but its bulky look must have to do with the fact that this one is meant to transport space station modules into orbit, with one in the exact same style as the ones from the previous sets being included here. Inside, there's some energy charging device going on. The cockpit, while spacious, only fits 1 minifigure, and when you remove the windscreen element, the battery sources are accessed and can be replaced with new ones placed at the Launchpad. Since the space station modules can be connected, you could potentially use these as a space train as well. You'd only have issues when placing these on the ramp, which was designed with just the 1 module in mind. The space base build is clearly the highlight of this set, at least for me, as it looks really good as far as sci-fi looks go. The fit of the base with those hydraulic elements look great, and although meant for display at 45-degree angles, can be adjusted to your liking. The entrance has this door that you can open like this, though no stop was included in the build, and so you can actually remove this thing altogether, which is kinda weird for me personally, but not that big of an issue. These 2 sides only have some windows, while the last one has this edge that you can open, revealing yet another of those orange connector pieces, which, as you're probably guessing, fits the modular system like a glove, enabling you to extend your space base with the module included in the set, or the ones that come with the sets previously featured in the video, allowing for some very interesting combinations when all of them are placed together. Now this whole bottom section has an interior that you can access by opening the sides of the build like this. Inside you'll find a cantina with some peculiar illustrations on the wall. On the other side, a lab for the scientists to do their thing with a few more interesting stickers for decoration. And while one seems very straightforward, the other with a minifigure breakdown has some data regarding yellow poop. Wonder what's that all about. These stickers are connected to the assemblies of the space base legs, and so if you rotate them, the stickers inside will follow. In the middle of it all, there's this spinning contraption with colored tiles that match the color schemes of the different jobs the astronauts have, which can be used for them to place their backpack elements when not in use. Outside, this whole crane build is kind of unavoidable and works as you'd expect it to, but also in a surprising way, if I may say so myself, as it spins independently from the command center above. 360-degree movement, lots of rope to be able to haul things around, and the crane arm can also be extended by a little, increasing its reach even further. The command center with that glass surface covering all four sides of the build looks really good, and again, trans dark and not trans clear as shown in the box. There's an antenna at the top that can tilt and spin in place, and if you remove this whole assembly, you'll gain access to the interior, with seats for 4 astronauts to oversee operations. There's 2 printed slopes with controls, but also 2 stickers, one featuring the interstellar spaceship and the other featuring the space station set, a very similar sticker to the one seen in that same set, just reversed, meaning there's a communication channel open between the 2 places, which is, once again, great cross-promotion and makes for interesting storytelling. I like it a lot. It is one of those products that you can totally see kids having a lot of fun with lots of play opportunities and different scenarios. And while the price may be justified, it still is an expensive product at $135. As much as I find these big LEGO sets really impressive and playful, I'm much more driven towards the significantly smaller and cheaper Interstellar Spaceship and the Space Explorer Rover. They managed so much with so little, all things considered, that I would actually recommend you getting those two and even throwing in the construction mech, with the total cost of those 3 combined saving you a few bucks when compared to the prices of any of these 3. But you know, what's a small LEGO box compared to a big one in the eyes of kids, right? Everything comes down to personal taste. But when it comes to the LEGO City space sets, every single one of them is amazing in its own right. City knocked it out of the park with all of these. Be sure to check part 1 of this review in here so I can make my money back. Subscribe for more LEGO set reviews, and I'll see you all in the next one.